Napoleon responds by loudly ordering his grenadiers and artillery into position, then demands that the Austrians surrender to him.
I am Napoleon. I am Emperor. You're gonna have to get used to me saying that, because I am going to be reacting to the entire Napoleon series by Epic History TV. Since the last video that I did, a lot of people really liked it, so I was like, alright, screw it, let's react to the whole series. So here we are. This is gonna take a while, but like I said, Napoleon is my favorite type of history, one of my favorite types of history, of course, so I have no problem. Let's get right into the video.
Big History TV, BMF Productions collaboration. In 1796, at the height of the French Revolutionary Wars, a young French general took charge of a ragged, demoralized army in northern Italy. It was his first command. Many expected him to fail. Instead, in just 1 month, he won his first brilliant campaign. With astonishing self-confidence, boldness and energy, he led his army to victory after victory, transforming the war in Europe, winning praise from a grateful republic, and forging a legend. This is the story of Napoleon Bonaparte's first campaign, and the dawn of a new age. May 1796. The French Revolutionary Wars have entered their 5th year, and on what most consider to be a second...
Wait, 5 years since the French Revolutionary War have begun? Sheesh, man. Oof. Bro, these borders of Europe, oh, so awful. I wonder how people, knew what borders back then were. Even now today, I'm like, how in the world do people know how to draw borders accurately and know hey, this is my border and whatnot. It's very interesting.
Secondary front, there has been a stunning development. A 26-year-old general of the French Republic, Napoleon Bonaparte, has waged a lightning campaign across northern Italy, defeating the Kingdom of Piedmont Sardinia and driving the Austrians across Lombardy. 2,000 Austrian troops remain holed up in Milan's citadel, but they cannot prevent his triumphal entry into the city on the 15th of May. Now, the French general holds court at the Palazzo Serbelloni, issuing decrees on behalf of the Directory in Paris, while his troops enjoy several days' rest. Lombardy is to be reorganized as a French client state, known as the Lombardic Republic. Political and economic reforms sweep away the old Austrian state, to the delight of Italian intellectuals in cities like Milan. But the...
Whoa! Shoot, man, he was already making demands and acting basically on his own. I knew when he marched on Vienna, he was the one who broke a peace deal, but I didn't know he was basically acting on his own freaking as early as this. Wow.
French also demand 20 million francs to help pay for the war, while their troops requisition vast quantities of food, horses, cattle, and boots. Most inflammatory are their attacks on the property and dignity of the Catholic Church, which enrage Italian priests and peasants, and are a gift to anti-French propagandists. On the 23rd of May, as Napoleon's troops set off in pursuit of the Austrians, revolt breaks out in Pavia. The next day, there are riots in Milan. Napoleon races back to the city, where order is soon restored. But on the road...
Yikes. Ooh, seems like, even though he won, he is, it's one of those situations where, people are cooperative, but then as soon as you leave, they completely switch up, basically fake.
To Pavia. At Binasco, he encounters 1,000 armed rebels. Colonel Lannes' grenadiers rout the peasants, killing 100 and burning the village.
Bro, you're just gonna get more people that's gonna want to rebel. What? What?
A terrible example, which will be effective, Napoleon writes. Pavia is retaken the next day with little opposition. A score of ringleaders, including several priests, are shot. Hundreds of hostages are taken from prominent local families to ensure future cooperation.
Who makes this art? Like who? I mean, it's kind of like meh, but still, for your memory to like remember all of this, bro. Like, I wonder, like, who makes this type of art? Like, I don't. Is this actual art? Like, can someone answer that for me? Like, this is so interesting.
Napoleon resumes his advance east. His army now organized into 4 divisions: Kilmain's advance guard, Augereau, Massena, and Serrurier. General Berlioz's Austrian army holds the line of the Mincio River, with Lake Garda on his right and the great fortress of Mantua on his left. This, together with the fortresses at Peschiera, Verona, and Lagnago, forms the famous quadrilateral. 4 bastions that cement Austria's grip on northern Italy. But
this is in. Let's see what Napoleon does. That's actually a really good defensive position if I've seen one.
Once more, Beaulieu can't get a read on Napoleon's movements. He scatters his troops, trying to defend 4 potential crossing points, and is further distracted by fake preparations to cross Lake Garda by boat. In fact, Napoleon has decided to cross the Mincio at Borghetto, and when Kilmain's advance guard arrives, they find the bridge defended by a single battalion of infantry and handful of hussars. The Austrians are soon driven back, but a sudden counterattack nearly bags General Bonaparte himself. A possibly dramatized account has him hopping over fences with one boot on to evade the hussars. This lucky escape leads to the formation of an elite cavalry detachment to act as Napoleon's personal escort. They are named the Compagnie des Guides à Cheval. Their commander is a young cavalry captain named Jean-Baptiste Bessières. In time, this unit will become the famous Chasseurs à Cheval of the Imperial Guard, the Emperor's ever-present bodyguard on campaign.
Wow, so that's the roots of the infamous Imperial Guard. I don't know if I should say infamous or should I just say like famous. Depends on who you're asking. Maybe if you're asking a British person, they would say infamous, I guess. I don't know. But since this is just history, I'm just gonna say famous, because the Imperial Guard, they weren't like, you know, the SS. The SS were infamous, but because, you know, of what they had done and their brutality, these guards were just cool. Honestly, they were just pretty cool, so I'm just gonna say famous.
This video is sponsored by Enlisted, the unique World War II first-person shooter.
I'm too broke. I'm sorry. I'm too broke. I can't do that.
Taken by surprise by the crossing at Borghetto, Beaulieu begins a withdrawal to a new defensive line in the Adige Valley.
What? Bro, so you're telling me that this whole defensive position was... Oh my god. Bro, I was so hyped for a second. I was thinking, oh, this is going to be some crazy battle and this is going to be insane. Oh, Napoleon is going to use his genius tactics. The whole thing was just rendered redundant. What? Oh my gosh. That's so disappointing. Holy crap. That is actually disappointing.
However, at Mantua, he leaves behind a reinforced garrison, well supplied and ready to withstand a siege of at least 2 months.
That's a lot for that. That's quite a lot for 13,000. Ooh, let's see what happens here. I think this is gonna be crazy. I don't know.
Napoleon cannot bypass Mantua. Its garrison is too powerful. But the fortress city will be a tough nut to crack. Its old walls surrounded on 3 sides by a lake and on the other by malarial marshland. The most unhealthy place in Italy, Napoleon tells the Directory. His biggest problem is his lack of heavy siege artillery. Most of these guns are in Milan, bombarding the Austrians, still holed up in the citadel. More guns were supposed to arrive by sea, but have been intercepted by British warships, commanded by a certain Commodore Horatio Nelson.
Ah, Lord Nelson! Lord Nelson. Why do I call him Lord Nelson? It's interesting because in Barbados, we call him Lord Nelson because it said that due to the Battle of Trafalgar, his sacrifice saved Barbados from a Napoleonic invasion back when Barbados was still a British colony. In fact, there's even a statue back in my home city, Bridgetown, at what used to be Trafalgar Square until it was removed due to stupid reasons. But there's a statue of him in my home city, Bridgetown, to commemorate his sacrifice that he did, because it was said that if he didn't win the Battle of Trafalgar, Barbados would probably be a French colony today and a French-speaking country, and we would probably be speaking French Creole instead of, what you're hearing me speaking today.
Since April, Napoleon has launched 3 successful offensives, marched more than 200 miles, and won 10 battles. But finally, outside the walls of Mantua, he is brought to a halt. And the demands on his limited force are growing. He must maintain the siege of Mantua, even though its guns outnumber his own and no direct assault can be made. He must protect his lines of communication back to France and guard against further revolt in Lombardy. And he must be ready to face the Austrians, who are receiving reinforcements from Germany and will soon counterattack. To add to his problems, the French Directory demands that he lead an expedition to central and southern Italy. He's to threaten military occupation unless these states cough up huge sums to help fund the French war effort. Napoleon vehemently opposes the idea. Marching troops the length of Italy in high summer, he warns, will end in sickness and death. Fortunately, strong words alone persuade Naples to sign an armistice. And in the end,
What? What? So that's how Naples just left the freaking war? What? Okay.
Napoleon doesn't even have to go as far as Rome. The French march through the Duchy of Modena, the Papal States, and the Grand Duchy of Tuscany, raising more than 40 million francs in tribute from states that are powerless to resist.
Oh, wow. That is... Wow. Wow. That is actually just wow. That's like medieval tactics right there. Holy crap.
Napoleon dines in Florence with the Grand Duke before returning to Milan. There he is reunited with his wife, Josephine, who's arrived from Paris, discreetly accompanied by her new lover. Napoleon does not linger.
I said this in my last video. Josephine is for the streets. He's literally for the streets. I don't know why Napoleon loved this woman so much. I heard Napoleon did not have charisma, or in layman's terms, he didn't have riz. Maybe that's why. But Josephine, bro, like really? Oh my gosh.
In Milan. Its citadel has finally fallen, freeing up his siege guns. His troops have seized another 150 guns from the forts of central Italy. Napoleon can now make serious plans to take Mantua, and he has no time to lose. In the Tyrol, the reinforced Austrian army is beginning to stir, under a new commander. Berlioz is gone. Now, 72-year-old Field Marshal Count von Wurmser is in command. A courageous cavalryman, vigorous beyond his years, and determined to avenge Austrian defeats in Italy.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make money on Amazon is not.
Where does he get these quotes from? Where does he get these quotes from? I mean, this is kind of like starting to be like early modern period. So I guess this is like back when people were still saving like records and whatnot. I'm guessing, but I don't know. He has so much quotes of him. It's like actually crazy. Like, wow.
Since crossing the Mincio, Napoleon has reorganized and redeployed his forces. General Massena's division is near Rivoli, watching the road to the Tyrol. Two of his brigades under General Sorre are at Salo, watching the western side of Lake Garda. General Despinois' division is in support at Peschiera. General Augereau's division is around Legnago, watching the eastern approaches, while Kilmain's cavalry mounts patrols. General Serrurier's division carries out the siege.
Holy crap, these names. What are these names? Bro, what in the world? And they're not even spelled how they sound. Oh, that's confusing and hard to remember.
Of Mantua itself. But Napoleon's hopes for a rapid conclusion to the siege are in vain. The Austrian garrison conducts a skillful and active defense, raiding French entrenchments and seizing supplies. Murat, recently promoted to brigadier general, plans to lead a group of men in Austrian uniform across the lake at night to take the guards by surprise. But the operation's abandoned when the water level suddenly drops. The French step up their bombardment of the city, firing more than 1,000 cannonballs and mortar shells in one 6-hour period. Mantua is being battered to pieces, but its walls are not yet breached. Napoleon.
Bro, the civilians! Oh my goodness! Imagine being a civilian! Unless they evacuated them. Holy crap, though! You might like, oh, that's awful.
Is out of time. Field Marshal Wurmser is finally marching to Mantua's aid. He has divided his army into 4 columns. 2 central columns are advancing down the Adige Valley directly towards Mantua. Another column to the east is making a wide flanking march, while a 4th column, under General Kostanovic, advances down the western shore of Lake Garda, planning to seize Brescia and cut Napoleon's line of retreat. Massena comes under heavy attack and severely outnumbered.
This is about to be crazy. I hope this is not a disappointment. This is crazy numbers for 1796, bruh. This is crazy.
Abandons Rivoli and begins a fighting retreat. As soon as the news reaches Napoleon, he races to Castelnuovo, ordering Augereau, Despinois, and Kilmain to join him as fast as possible. But suddenly, it is Kostanovic's column that's emerging as the greatest threat. General Saue's troops at Salo are heavily outnumbered. They put up a stiff resistance, but are forced to withdraw. The next day, Austrian troops surprise the French at Brescia. They take the town, as well as an army hospital containing 2,000 French sick and wounded. Even Napoleon's wife, Josephine, en route to Brescia, is nearly captured in the chaos. Wurmser has wrong-footed Napoleon.
Bruh, if she was captured... Look, man, that would have done Napoleon a favor.
Already outnumbered, he's lost 5,000 casualties. His left flank is in tatters, and there's a real possibility he may be encircled. It's the greatest crisis he has faced as an army commander, and will force him to make an agonizing decision.
Yeah, bro, I want to see what he does. Like, if he... Yo, I don't know what happens here, but, like... This is actually mad. This is really, really freaking insane to me. Holy crap, man.
On the 31st of July, after 2 months of blood, sweat and sacrifice, General Serrurier is ordered to abandon the siege of Mantua. He is to send 2 of his brigades to reinforce Massena and Augereau, and withdraw with the rest of his troops to guard the army's line of retreat. 179 guns, plus ammunition and supplies which cannot be moved, are to be buried or tipped into the marshes. Napoleon needs every man he can get, because in the midst of the crisis, he has spotted an opportunity.
What? Interesting, let's see.
Kostanovich's advance has caught him off guard, but Lake Garda separates him from the rest of the Austrian army.
Oh my gosh, bruh. Well, I think I know where this is gonna go, but I'm gonna see what he says.
Napoleon will concentrate his forces against Kostanovich, beat him in battle, then pivot again to take on Wurmser. The French divisions are soon on the move. Kostanovich's troops reach Lonato, but here they encounter Massena's vanguard. The Austrians come under heavy attack, and with French reinforcements arriving, they have to pull back. The next day, the French retake Brescia, along with most of their supplies, sick and wounded. Then Napoleon catches a lucky break. Wurmser has been on Massena's heels, harrying his rear guard as far as Peschiera. But now he receives reports there are French forces massing between him and Mantua. Mantua is his priority, so he swings south, away from Kostanovich, towards a city Napoleon has already abandoned. By the time Wurmser...
Who reported that? Who in the world reported that? What? Surely Mantua... Was it the people in Mantua? I mean, the people of Mantua should have seen that Napoleon retreated. Who gave that report? Oh, sucks that... Oh my gosh. Oh, dude. Oh no. I think I know what's about to happen.
Realizes his error. It's too late. He has gifted Napoleon 24 crucial hours. A blunder.
These people right there are about to get whooped. I'm calling it right now. They're about to get whooped. He's gonna go back towards Mantua and whoop them.
For which he will pay dearly.
Johnson, why are you naked? Because my t-shirt sucks. Look at Gibson. He's wearing a true classic tee.
The 3rd of August sees confused fighting west of Lake Garda. One French brigade slips through the wooded ravines unnoticed, straight into Salo, causing havoc behind the Austrian lines. But the Austrians repel 3 attacks on Gavardo, and all seems to be going well until their own advance meets Massena's division at Lonato. Massena's counterattack is led by the 32nd Demi Brigade, which is becoming known as one of the Army of Italy's most feared units. Bayonets only, Napoleon calls out, and you, 32nd, maintain your glorious reputation.
Oh my gosh. That is so cold. That is so cold. Alright? That sent shivers down my spine.
The lead Austrian brigade is routed. Colonel Junot, though wounded 6 times, accepts their commander's surrender. Kostanovich's force has been mauled. Fearing for the rest of his command, and with no word from Wurmser, he decides he must march back around Lake Garda to rejoin the army. The same day, 15 miles to the south, General Augereau's division fights an aggressive rearguard action near Castiglione, keeping Wurmser at bay while Napoleon deals with Kostanovich. Augereau begins with a bold attack on General Liptay's vanguard, driving it back to high ground near Solferino. But here, Liptay receives steady reinforcements as the rest of the Austrian army begins to arrive. Augereau keeps up the pressure, preventing an Austrian advance. And though there's a late scare when enemy cavalry sweep around his left flank, they are unsupported and soon pull back.
What? Come on now, you got cavalry and they can't even do their job? Are you kidding me? Bruh. Oh my gosh.
For Augereau and his men, it is a long day of heroic action against a superior force, one which Napoleon will never forget. 12 years later, as emperor, he will make Augereau Duke of Castiglione, and always remind his critics, he saved us that day. Nevertheless, by nightfall, Augereau's division is at breaking point. Our soldiers are exhausted from fatigue and hunger. If you don't send me reinforcements, I won't be able to hold out. Next morning, French troops renew the attack on Kostanovich and quickly discover he's beating a hasty retreat. A major disaster is narrowly avoided when 3 lost Austrian battalions stumble into Napoleon's headquarters at Lonato. They call on the general to surrender. Napoleon responds by loudly ordering his grenadiers and artillery into position, then demands that the Austrians surrender to him.
What the heck? Nah, bro. Holy crap. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I'm sorry. That's funny. He said Uno reverse card.
Or be put to the sword. It's a bold bluff. Few of his troops are anywhere near. But the Austrians meekly lay down their arms. As Napoleon swings his army round to take on Wurmser, the Austrian must...
No, he got lucky. He got lucky. He got really lucky. Holy crap. He got really, really lucky.
Decide whether to stand his ground or fall back to a stronger line behind the Mincio River. He chooses to stay put by engaging...
Oh, come on, dude. If this was me, right? If this was me, obviously you would take the better defensive position. Why would you not take the better defensive position? That's so stupid. That is so stupid. What? Like, what?
Aging Napoleon, he hopes to buy time for Kostanovic to regroup and resume his advance, and for Mantua to be resupplied. His reasoning is sound, but his intelligence is out of date, and he's underestimated the speed at which Napoleon's forces will move.
Interested in modeling and acting? Calling all kids and teens.
What the hell?
At dawn on the 5th of August, the Austrian army is 4 miles east of Castiglione, formed up in 2 lines. Its northern flank anchored on the village of Solferino, its southern flank on a well-fortified redoubt at Monte Medolano. Napoleon faces him with Massena's division in the north, Augereau's division in the centre, and Kilmain's cavalry in the south. He's also formed an elite unit of grenadiers and cavalry to be held back for the decisive moment. Napoleon doesn't seem to have much of an advantage. But
if anything, he's at a disadvantage because his guns, man. He only has 19 compared to 60 guns. Like, what?
he has 10,000 more troops converging rapidly on the battlefield. 5,000 under General Despinois, marching from Prussia. 5,000 more under General Fiorella, coming from the south. To buy time for these reinforcements to arrive, and to lure Wurmser out of position, Napoleon orders Massena and Augereau to attack. There is a short exchange of fire. Then the French begin a feigned retreat. The Austrians take the bait, some units advancing off the high ground, while Wurmser extends his right wing, looking to outflank Massena's division. Around 9 a.m., the sound of gunfire from the south alerts both sides to Fiorella's arrival behind the Austrian left flank. Napoleon immediately orders Augereau and Massena to attack again, in earnest. Despinois' troops arrive to join the assault. But Napoleon has sprung his trap too early. Wurmser is not yet fully committed and reacts swiftly. He organizes a new line to fend off Fiorella and hurriedly recalls his right wing. But he cannot save the redoubt at Monte Medolano. Napoleon's aide-de-camp, Major Marmont, leads forward a battery to blast the position. His guns open a devastating cannonade, clearing the way for an attack. Around 10 a.m., the reserve grenadiers charge forward with bayonets fixed, sweeping the Austrians off the hill. Meanwhile, to the north, the 4th and 5th demi-brigades surge onto the Solferino heights and seize the redoubt before Pozzacatana. Carried forward by their momentum, they storm the Solferino tower and village beyond, the shaken enemy falling back in disarray. The Austrians are hard-pressed along the line, and now French cavalry and Fiorella's troops threaten to cut off their retreat. While Napoleon is active, energized, urging troops forward, Wurmser seems to go into shock. A French emigrant.
I mean, he's an old man. I mean, you have a young guy and an old guy. Come on now.
Serving with him recalled, he watched without seeing anything, saying anything, hearing anything. This brave old man, his head covered with white hair, did not think anymore. Finally, Wurmser orders a general retreat, back across the Mincio River, covered by their cavalry and some late Austrian reinforcements. The French pursuit quickly peters out. After a week of forced marches in stifling heat, with little to eat or drink, Napoleon's men are close to collapse.
And they were able to do all of that? Woo! Impressive. Oh, wow. Wow. This is wow. I mean, granted, Napoleon got lucky a bit, but still, that's very impressive.
But their general is content with what they have achieved.
Friends would walk up to me and just be like, what the fuck is in your mug? And I would just tell them.
Wurmser's army finds temporary refuge behind the Mincio River. But Napoleon immediately resumes the attack. Massena is sent north to relieve the French garrison at Peschiera and threaten Wurmser's line of retreat. The Austrian
Why don't they destroy the bridge? What? I'm so confused. Like, why are they not? Can someone explain that to me? Like, why are they not destroying the bridges? Like, what?
General has had enough. After ensuring the garrison of Mantua is fully resupplied and reinforced, he begins his withdrawal to the Tyrol to regroup and rethink. The French nip at his heels all the way. Napoleon has just endured his toughest challenge yet as an army commander. And though initially wrong-footed by his adversary, he's displayed brilliant flexibility and his usual energy to weather the crisis and then triumph. But Mantua remains the key to Italy, and while it stands unconquered, the Austrians will do everything in their power to save it. Wurmser will be back, and when he returns, he'll find himself on a collision course with Napoleon as he launches his own attack on Austria itself.
The music, oh, the music, this is so freaking hype. Oh my goodness gracious me. Ooh.
Thanks again to Enlisted.
Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, that was a good episode. I definitely have to watch all of this series. This series seems mad. So thank you for watching the video. If you like the videos, make sure to like the video. Let more people see. Like, come on, it helps me. You know, it takes zero effort. You know, if you like my reactions, you know, just subscribe. You know, if you like history, you know, subscribe, because I post my own history stuff too. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching the video. And also, don't forget to comment. Come on now. Don't forget to comment what you think as well. Like, come on.